This move is used starting in the north-south position. The jab step is a very useful maneuver in this situation because it entices the defender to react a certain way. As an offensive player, you are looking to read and react to what the defender does and do the opposite. In this case, once you jab to the right and the defender does not make a movement to cut this lane off, you should take advantage and accelerate through the right lane. Once you accelerate through the lane, you should use your protection arm, your non-dribbling hand, to shield the ball from the defender as you go past as you are laying the ball up. Working off the success of the jab right, go right, the jab right, go left is the next move you should be looking to exercise. In this case, once you jab to the right, the defender reacts to cut the right lane off. You should take advantage and accelerate through the open left lane. Once you accelerate through the lane, you should use your protection arm to shield the ball from the defender as you go past and as you are laying the ball up. The double jab is an extremely effective move from the north-south position and is the continuation of the single jab. It is very useful in creating space between you and the defender, as well as putting the defender on their heels and in a recovery situation. When applying the double jab, you should read and react to the defender the same way as when using the single jab. The double jab right, go left works on the same principle as using the single jab sequence. Using a double jab is an excellent way to keep your opponent guessing and off balance. The double jab will also be more effective if you vary the timing of each jab. Sometimes a seasoned defender can pick up the rhythm at which you play, so it is important to use different tempos and changes of speed. Being able to operate from the north-south stance, starting with either foot, is the first step to becoming unguardable. In this case, once you jab to the left and the defender does not make a movement to cut this lane off, you should take advantage and accelerate through the left lane. Once you accelerate through the lane, you should use your protection arm, your non-dribbling hand, to shield the ball from the defender as you go past and as you are laying the ball up. Working off your success of the jab left, go left, the jab left, go right is the next progression you should be looking to perform. In this case, once you jab to the left, the defender reacts to cut the lane off. You should take advantage and accelerate through the open right lane. Once you accelerate through the lane, you should use your protection arm to shield the ball from the defender as you go past and as you are laying the ball up. The double jab is an extremely effective move from the north-south position and is the continuation of the single jab. It is very useful in creating space between you and the defender, as well as putting the defender on their heels and in a recovery situation. When applying the double jab, you should read and react to the defender the same way as when using the single jab. The double jab left, go right works on the same principle as using the single jab sequence. Using a double jab is an excellent way to keep your opponent guessing and off balance. The double jab will also be more effective if you are varying the timing of each jab. Sometimes a seasoned defender can pick up the rhythm at which you play, so it is important to use different tempos and changes of speed. The concept of using the in and out is to give the defender the illusion that you are crossing the ball over to the other hand. This should get the defender to anticipate and react to the crossover and open up the ball side penetration lane. When applying this move, the ball should be brought to the opposite side of your body to create the illusion of crossing the ball over. To maximize the effectiveness of the in and out, you should turn your shoulders and head to the opposite side of your body to really sell the idea of a crossover. Once you have executed the move and are moving through the ball side penetration lane, use your protection hand to shield the ball from a reaching defender. The basic crossover, when used correctly and at the right time, can be one of the most effective moves in basketball. Correct application of the crossover should result in the defender going the opposite way of the offensive player and in some cases falling. To execute this move properly, the ball should be extended out as far east and west as possible. Extending the ball east and west will force the defender to react and to defend the ball side penetration lane, thereby opening the off-ball side penetration lane. This also gives the offensive player time to read which lane the defender has chosen to defend and counter accordingly. Even though the ball is extended east and west, your feet should still be in a north-south stance. This will make it easier to accelerate through the open penetration lane once the ball has been crossed over. When crossing the ball over, the ball should be dribbled no higher than the knee, and in a perfect scenario, the ball should be dribbled ankle high. Crossing the ball over this low makes it more difficult for the ball to be stolen. Dribbling the ball between your legs is a great way to cross the ball over to your other hand while using your legs as a shield from the defender. This is a good move to use on defenders who excel at on-ball defense and stealing the ball. This move should be applied in the same way as the basic crossover. The only difference between the two is that it is not as necessary to dribble the ball as low because your leg is being used as protection. Sometimes this will even entice the defender to reach in an effort to steal the ball and result in them jamming or breaking a finger on your knee. The move should still be executed while in north-south footwork to maximize acceleration once the ball has changed hands. The key to this move is to stay low and not move your body up and down as the ball is being dribbled between your legs. This will prevent the ball from bouncing up into your legs and you losing control of the ball. The stutter step is the epitome of a read and react move. The shuffling of the feet while executing this move allows the offensive player time to assess the defender's position and which lane to attack. In most cases, both lanes will be open because the defender will be unsure of which lane to take away and get caught flat-footed. In order to maximize the effectiveness of the move, the offensive player should be very decisive on which lane should be attacked and explode through it. The double crossover is the first progression in the crossover series. This move is a great counter for players who like to incorporate a basic crossover while breaking defenders down. The first crossover in this series should be a hard crossover with the intention of opening up the non-starting hand penetration lane. If the defender reads the move and defends the intended penetration lane, a short, quick crossover should be used to counter the defender's read. The in and out crossover is a great dribble combination to use in the open court. This move doesn't really require you to decelerate that much to execute it properly, and probably works just as well, if not better, when moving at top speed. The key to executing this move is to implement the in and out early enough to read how the defender has played it. If he doesn't bite on the in and out, the crossover will surely lose him, especially if you're moving at a high rate of speed. The first between the legs in this sequence should be a hard, exaggerated one with the intent of getting the defender to shift and defend the threatened penetration lane. Once the shift has occurred, the second between the legs dribble should be fast and quick in order to take advantage of the defender's position. If successfully executed, the double between the legs will leave the defender unable to recover and with a puzzled look on their face. When implementing the double between the legs crossover, it is vital that the first between the legs dribble is hard and exaggerated, and the second one is fast and quick, because this gives you some time to assess the defender's position and whether or not you need to use the final crossover. If you do choose to use a crossover, make sure it is an exaggerated east and west one. This will really shift your opponent and open up a lane you could drive a truck through. The freeze is a simple but extremely effective move when utilized correctly. The application of this move is essentially a jab while dribbling the ball. The idea of this move is to give the defender a foot, ball, and body fake to make them think you are going to attack the basket. If done correctly, the defender should see that you are not attacking the basket and relax, thereby giving you the opportunity to blow by them. The key to this move is the effective use of the body and ball feints. The freeze is also a good setup for the basic crossover. The killer crossover has been around and utilized for many years, but it is just as lethal now as its inception almost 20 years ago. The killer crossover is a 2-dribble sequence that is started off with a between the legs dribble, which can then be followed by virtually any other basic dribble move. The success and effectiveness of the killer crossover is predicated on how hard you lean into the initial between the legs dribble. A hard lean will get the defender to lean as well in an effort to defend the threatened penetration lane, thereby leaving themselves open to the crossover of your choice and teaching them the hard way why this crossover is killer. The first variation of the killer crossover, the killer between the legs, is essentially a double between the legs, but there is an emphasis on the hard lean on the initial between the legs dribble. This hard lean is designed to shift the defender and open up the starting ball side penetration lane. The second between the legs dribble is used to cross the ball over with added protection from the leg and shin from a reaching defender.